During the visit, the Prime Minister will hold discussions with the leadership of Kuwait. This will be the first visit of an Indian Prime Minister to Kuwait in 43 years, as we told you. The visit is set to cement the historic ties between the two countries and strengthening the cultural, trade and people-to-people connect between India and Kuwait. In a special press briefing, the External Affairs Ministry said that Prime Minister Modi's visit to the Gulf Spik labour camp shows that the government of India attaches considerable importance to the welfare of all its workers working in a foreign country.
The Government of India attaches considerable importance to the welfare of all the workers which are abroad. As I just mentioned, we have a community of around 1 million. As Secretary CPV and OIA, this is one of our priority areas that we have. So the idea of the visit of the Honorable Prime Minister to Labour Camp is to express that the amount of importance that the Government of India attaches to our workers who are there in a foreign country.
My colleague Akshay Dongre joins us from Kuwait City. Akshay, first of all, give us a relevance of the visit. The Prime Minister, an Indian Prime Minister, hasn't visited Kuwait in 43 years. Why now?
Well, it seems that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's foreign policies have it all covered when it comes to the Gulf region along with other parts of the world as well. Now, you have rightly mentioned that this is for the first time that in 43 years an Indian Prime Minister is attending, or rather is visiting Kuwait, a very important country when it comes to India's energy security is concerned, because Kuwait is the 6th largest supplier of crude oil to India. It is also the 6th largest producer of crude oil, along with being the 4th largest provider or exporter of the LPG to India. So when it comes to India's energy security, Kuwait remains there among the top countries, and that perhaps is the reason why the relation between the two countries have always been warm. There have been certain high-level delegations that have come to Kuwait, but not an Indian Prime Minister in over 4 decades. In fact, this year only the Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar had visited the country, and perhaps that was to lay a foundation for this visit that is going to take place tomorrow. The atmosphere here in Kuwait City is electrifying. It's not just the Indian diaspora, which also is one of, in fact, the largest expat community here with a population of over 1 million people. But it's not just the Indian diaspora that is excited to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but the Kuwaiti nationals as well. India is seen as a very friendly nation across the country. In fact, the Indian expats form one of the most trusted, one of the most dependable community that lives here, from pharmaceutical industry to healthcare to education. You can find Indians everywhere. You can find even people speaking Hindi, people speaking Malayali or Tamil across the country, with several people traveling every year to the country to find jobs, to contribute to the Kuwaiti society as well. And that workforce, the hard work that Indians put in is appreciated by not just the Kuwaiti government, but also the people. So why now is a very subjective term, if you ask me, Amritpal. It is a well calculated move by the Indian Prime Minister, because Prime Minister Narendra Modi has visited all the GCC nations. It was just Kuwait that was left, and now it will also be covered. In fact, this remains a symbolism by the Indian government, by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's foreign policy as well, that India remains committed when it comes to the Gulf region, and the trade is going to improve, the trade is going to increase, and has been happening in the last 10 years under the policies of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Back to you.
Okay, what areas is he expected to bring up in his discussions with the Kuwaiti leadership?
Well, we are expecting that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be, according to his plans, he will be meeting the Indian diaspora. There will be a community event. He will also be going to labor camps where a large workforce coming in from India contributes to the Kuwaiti society. So, people-to-people connect is going to be perhaps one of the most important factor that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be touching upon. As we were talking about Indians contributing in one of the largest manner when it comes to foreign nationals are concerned in the country. But besides this living bridge, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to talk or rather touch upon the energy supplies, the trade between the two countries, culture, tradition, the heritage that the two countries share. Besides the trade and other issues that we have discussed, Prime Minister also is expected to discuss pharmaceutical industry, healthcare industry, education. In fact, it's very interesting to see that in Kuwait there are 26 CBSE affiliated schools that are functioning, and you can find not just Indians studying in those schools but Kuwaiti nationals as well. So it's quite interesting to see how India and Kuwait have remained close friends despite the fact that not even a single Prime Minister from India has visited the country in the last 4 decades, and that is all set to change, and that is why perhaps across the country Indians and Kuwaitis as well are very excited to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Okay. Apart from the labor camp visit, he's going to witness a Gulf Cup football opening ceremony. Give us a significance of that, Akshay.
Yes. Well, when you ask this question, I missed this point that sports is also going to be one of the key factor that will be taken up by the two leaderships. In fact, close collaborations in the area of sports, how the Indian sportsmen can come to Kuwait, how Kuwaiti sportsmen and athletes can come to India, and how both the countries can develop their sports infrastructure. That is going to be perhaps one of the key focus area. India also is ambitious of hosting Olympic Games, and to do that, we need to have a lot of expertise in various fields. And perhaps that is the reason why it's not just Kuwait but other countries. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits, he makes it a point to focus on enhancing the sports infrastructure in India as well by collaborating with foreign countries, and that is going to be also in the plan of Prime Minister Narendra Modi when he comes here.
All right. He's visiting the labor camp. We saw your report where the Indian diaspora was quite enamored by him, and we heard the bites where they're saying he's very, very charismatic. But apart from that, what are the issues of the Indian community, the Indian workers? Because as the Secretary CPB was saying today, that the welfare of the Indian workers in Kuwait remains a key concern for the Indian government. What do the expats tell you? What are the issues there?
Well, there have been certain issues when it comes to the expats that are living here, that have been working here. There have been, it's not just Kuwait, but also in India, there have been certain nexus, certain gangs that have been trying to fraud people when it comes to hiring them to give them employment opportunities in Gulf countries, and Kuwait remains one of those countries which is a very lucrative spot for Indians to work at. And perhaps that is the reason why when Prime Minister Narendra Modi comes here, he will be visiting one of the labor camps where he will be going and seeing the kind of living conditions of Indians, the kind of working environment that is there. And it is going to be a very significant move by the Prime Minister, because when he comes here, when he sees these working conditions and the living camps of the Indian nationals who are working here, it is also going to send a huge message to not just the Kuwaiti government but also the recruiting agencies to provide humane and to provide good kind of conditions for Indians to not only come here but to work here, and whenever they want to go back, their issues should be addressed, because we have seen certain cases where there have been cases where Indians were not able to return back to the country. Their passports have been confiscated in the past, and that is perhaps the reason why Prime Minister Narendra Modi is focusing on this issue as well, because this is going to be, in fact, his first activity here. He will be first visiting this particular labor camp, where he will be going and seeing the living and working conditions of Indians, and that is going to be a huge message to the Kuwaiti government and to the recruiting agencies.
All right, Akshay, we leave it there. Thank you very much. You have a good stay. Cover the visit well. Thank you very much for joining us for the moment.